Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to do some work on the 20,000 bricks under the sea cabinet, namely doing another construction that uses rare earth magnets to go across two levels of the scene. Well, we've got quite a few of these magnetised constructions from the surface level, that hull there being one, two these keels, three being the shark cage, probably my favourite, four a little buoy there, five that hull, six another buoy back there, seven the lovely whale, oh, maybe that's the favourite, and eight the bottom of the oil rig, of course. So yeah, absolutely loads between these two levels, but none yet on the level below that to the one under there. So essentially I'm going to do one in this area today in front of the sea tunnel, and that, just like the ones on the floor above, basically kind of act as a join between the two levels, linking everything together and making it seem less like four distinct scenes and more like one continuous one. So I could have a beastie going in between these two levels, but what I thought I'd do instead is have a submarine, and that way it looks like it's sort of going down deeper and deeper, with some of its body kind of above the surface and the majority below. Now that isn't as easy as you'd think, because often these submarines have large pieces included in them, like the sort of dome cockpits or something like that, which aren't easy to split. So yeah, let's see what we can get up to. And just while we're here, I have included the new killer whale. He's lovely. They're having a bit of fun swimming in the open. I've upgraded the weapon system for the defence turret to have four of these sort of harpoon torpedoes on. I think that makes it look a bit more armoured, and I'm using those sort of shiny chrome arrow pieces. And I attached our pirate shark onto the top of our sea tunnel, just so he was going about his business as well. Cool, right, well let's get to the building desk and get on with this submarine. However, before we do that, I've got some amendments from the SSP SWAT to do. Good. Well, on to the amendments from, well, not last time's build, but the one before that, I think, which was this fantastic SSP mech cum tank type thing, which I'm provisionally calling the SWAT, while I go through all of your name suggestions, some of which are very funny indeed, so thanks for those. But yes, we can get on with the amendments. The first one was adding some spotlights or searchlights, which I've decided to mount to the ends of the shoulders here, so they can shine on guilty or innocent suspects at night time, or just to blind them into submission. So I thought that was a really good idea, and it really adds to it, so I'm happy with that. Another smaller one was just to go with the black eyepiece with a kind of reflection on as a bit of variety on the targeting system for the missile unit, so that's a good one. Probably my favourite actually was this one, creating a very large loud hailer, basically, sort of megaphone, so the population of Brick Nottingham can also be deafened into submission and have all of the instructions barked at them. And I tried to make that as similar to the sort of handheld minifigure megaphone piece as possible, whilst still having the scale required by the SSP. So hopefully you can see that there pretty well. But I thought that was a really good touch, and it just adds even more stuff to the top. Another good suggestion, which I did like, but I didn't actually do, was adding antenna. I think it should have antenna all over it, but quite frankly, enough's going to fall off this thing every time I move it, as it is, so I may not do that one after all. But thanks so much for all of those suggestions. So if yours was reflected today, then you have earned yourself a shiny Bedoing. Well done for you. Right, let's put this to one side and move on to today's submarine, which is this one. Possibly my favourite ever submarine done by LEGO City, at least. It's the 60092 Deep Sea Submarine from 2015, part of the Deep Sea Exploration line. I really like the sort of iconography of the sort of tentacle wrapped around the anchor on the top, and this one is E01 for Explorer, I think, and this is the one that's got the air tanks that I keep buying in brick halls to use the stickers of all over the place. And we've got more iconography here and a number on here, and it's just got a lot of heft to it, a lot of sort of bulk and weight with these big tanks and this rather large body, as opposed to being a sort of usual smaller size. Now, given that we're going to try and support virtually all of this weight using magnets, actually, the heft and weight of this thing is actually to our disadvantage today. But nonetheless, it's got a lot going on, hasn't it? We've got the sort of grabber arm on one hand, and then this sort of multi-tool arm, which I really like. On the other one, maybe that's kind of a laser cutter or a sort of underwater welder or something, a precise grabber, a kind of buzzsaw type thing, and, well, whatever that is. So that's very useful as well. Loads and loads of lights, both down here and up here, which really sort of give the impression that this could go quite deep and really light its own way. Storage on the outside, pipes, movable propeller jets sort of thing, and wow, it's just got a lot of play value. I really like it. It's very believable, if you ask me. Not only that, but that set came with like a cool skeleton, sort of from a beast of the past, kind of rock side build with seaweed, crab, shark, and a couple of divers and all the rest of it. So a very good set, and given the amount of pieces I've seen in the second-hand market, they must be going for relatively cheaply, I think. So this is what I've decided to get across 2 levels. Yeah, and that makes it very difficult indeed, because we've got 2 problems. The first one is the weight, which we're going to have to get some very strong rare earth magnets to hold this up. I really should have weighed it, but you can kind of guess how heavy it is just from its size, because it's pretty solid in there. And the second one is where to do this divide, because if you think about the big sheet of glass that is that shelf, I can't have it going halfway through this. And although I've investigated different cockpit pieces where there are kind of 2 semicircular halves, there really aren't many. The best I found was probably on the Buzz Lightyear sort of big fig, which has actually got 2 bits. What the bit of the inside kind of folds up underneath the outside sort of half, if you sort of mean. But I didn't really like that. And then you've got the problem with the man inside needing to be halved and all the rest. So you can't really have the glass sort of in this whole section. It's got to be right up here. So what I thought I would do is probably rip off this kind of front bit here with all just the lights on the very top, rip off a couple bits of detail and these sort of back fins and so on, and have the glass level really as low to that dome top as possible, and then kind of rebuild the light sort of rig and more tanks and all the rest of it and the tail fins onto a new sort of top build piece that would marry up with the bottom still and just be, well, a bit taller, a bit more like he's a humpbacked submarine, but that would enclose the top magnet for the top side of the glass, and in here somewhere, the bottom magnet for this section. So that is my plan. Now, is it going to work? Well, the weight problem is the biggest one. So I have to get a pair of magnets that are strong enough to do it. So what I thought I'd do before wasting any more time is get a pair of the strongest magnets that I've got that I think will fit in this, and see just very crudely if it will hold the weight. And if it will, then, you know, it's a go. If not, we need to think again. Because I don't want this just barely held by the magnets, because that means if I'm working in a cabinet, I just touch this, it'll fall off and, well, smash a pyramid or something like that. So it really needs to be quite firmly held. So yeah, let's do that reasonability test first, and then, well, see if this is a goer. All right, well, here is our very crude hunchback just for the test. And you'll see I've got a big cube of rare earth magnet sandwiched in between 2 1x2x2 panel pieces where it fits absolutely perfectly. So that is going to be the kind of, I don't know, container, I suppose, for the one on each side, so it can be disguised as part of a submarine. And then hopefully its strength will go through that sort of top level of plastic and through the glass and through the bottom level of plastic of the next one, which is just in these sort of different coloured ones for now, and hold up the great big weight of this sub. So here we go. Well, I'm not holding it very well. Let me grasp it slightly differently. Here we go. Oh, golly. You saw the power of that magnet, and I can drag one around with the other. Now, the connection isn't great at the moment just because, well, I haven't done it properly, really. And if I use the side of those panel pieces on the underside, it will be slightly nearer when I do it in reality. But it is being held up. And I suppose I better give it a bit of a prod test. Ooh, it's not great because it's sort of tipping. But I think the strength is fine. Yeah, I'm trying to sort of pull it gently downwards. I think the strength is fine. It's just a bit wibbly. at the moment because it's held on by such a narrow kind of connection point, I suppose. It can sort of tip off. But you see it's, you know, it's pretty strong. Like I can wobble it like that and it still is held on. These magnets are just absolutely crazy strong. But there, you get an idea of how it's going to look. And when that's sort of got part of its hunchback above the surface and the rest below, you'll be able to see most of it kind of down through the glass like this, but still some of it above. Oh yeah, it's going to look great, isn't it? And then you'll really get that idea that this level is linked with the coral level, which will be level number 3, and the pyramid level that will be level number 4 as well. Cool. So I think that is secure enough, and it'll be a lot less wibbly when we've got a sort of more flat connection going on. So I think we can get on with the build. Success! Well, that has worked rather well, actually. These are just so strong. You can see when there isn't glass in between, I can shake this very hard and the connection point breaks before the connection between the magnets does. And oh, I'm not over-exaggerating that. That is how hard they are to pull apart. So yeah, these magnets are absolutely great. Very powerful indeed. And yeah, perfectly designed and shaped to go in this. I can't remember when I bought them if this was completely deliberate to go in between panels, but it's a happy occurrence if it was coincidence. So I think I need to have this set up, probably without that plate, on its side like that, both on the underside of the glass and another one on top, making sure I get the orientation of the magnets right so they're still attracting in the correct direction. And then that kind of little box, I suppose, needs to be, let's see how close. Ooh. Wow. That little box needs to be kind of encapsulated inside the body of this. So I think I need to get rid of this sort of whole setup on the front here for the top section. We'll definitely recycle that, so that won't go to waste. I think we need to pull off these tanks and the sort of central holding thing, because I think these are going to need to move outward essentially, and rather than both be held on by this 2x2 bit with a pin on the side, maybe sort of come out another level and be held by 1x2 with a pin on the side to leave us a 2x2 gap in the middle. Because then if I get rid of this, oh, I've knocked a pipe off. Get rid of these. Oh, a bit hard to grab actually. Oh, wow, you can imagine me removing those. Then essentially that, if these grey ones were off as well, could be sort of put in there in the middle behind the cockpit, and then the rest sort of smoothed off. We'll probably have to have a tile on the top of there, and if I can get the tile completely level with the top of that panel piece and continuing back, and then just sort of extra bulk and sort of grill pieces and whatnot for the engine, then I think that'll work really well. And then we can worry about, well, reattaching most of this stuff together for the top bit. Cool. Okay, so I've stripped this right back to this sort of flat level here. Now I'm going to build it back up to that level there with the magnet included. And the first bit, I'm just going to add in some plates in yellow to continue the body up, with some tiles on the top, and I'll put these smaller plates in there just to create a complete platform. So the magnet bit is basically going to be lying on its side on that tile. And then with another tile on that, it will be completely level at the top. Haha, that's the plan. So how do I connect it in exactly this position? Well, I'm going to use some brackets to mount it on its side, like that. So the magnet obviously will be in there, and that will go like that. And then on the other side, I can hold it in place using some more brackets. I'm using these ones that are with the kind of upright bit in the middle of the flat surface, so that can go like that on there, and then that works with Lego geometry. So I'm going to need a brick in there, and then oh golly, you kind of got to mount it all at the same time, I think. Actually, hold on, let's get that bit back off. That in there, and that all goes like like that. Brilliant. Right, but then we've got some space on the sides, and that's where I'm going to reattach those tanks, so it'll be off with it again. And I'm going to add a corrugated sort of brick here with the stripes going that way for streamlinedness, if that's a word, on each side. And that's that 1x2 version of this 2x2 sort of piece that I had, but now in yellow. So then I can put this back on here there we go. And that is our magnet holding area. And you really wouldn't know that would have a magnet inside. It doesn't quite yet, but I'll put that in a minute. So there we go. Oh, fantastic. Then I can reuse some of these parts. I'm going to reuse these 1x4 tiles. No, I think I'll move that along a little bit actually. To there. And I thought I had another one. There it is. That can go there. And then when we put the tanks back on, they will go like that and like that. Oh, yes. Right, so nothing's proud of the surface. You can see we're starting to get that flat level on there. So I need to level off this, and I can't actually fit the old one of these back on now because of those bracket pieces I've used. So that won't work. So the next best thing I've got is these smaller curved slopes that will fit along here and just change the gradient a little bit, but not so bad. Yeah, I don't mind that. That's just a subtle variation. And then I can add tiles to this bit. Oh yes, that's completely flat, and get rid of some unsightly ones here. I'm going to add a green light and a red light. It's always red is port because red is a shorter word than green, and port, the drink, is red. So there we go. So that's always on the left. Lovely. So there is the front section, completely flat and ready to connect with some glass. So if I continue this off the back, then I can have some more plates here. And then I'm going to have some more of these corrugated bricks kind of connected in here, but they'll be connected from above. So I'm just going to put them there, and they're going to have their direction with the horizontal lines being in the direction of travel, so they're streamlined. So those ones I was actually using them with the other side, but then with bricks studs on the side, so that was kind of like that, but I'm going to have them on the other side there. They're really versatile pieces. I really like those. So that goes there. Then we need our engines back in at this point, and hopefully these will clear the glass as well, because we don't want this being sort of knocked off center. And then I've got another section, just bringing the tail back in a bit with a great big slope piece in yellow, again with the horizontal lines on both sides, if I've done that right. And then that will hold all of this together. Is it all aligned? Ooh, no. Come on, there we go. Hurrah. So that should be level with that when it's pushed down properly. Got it. Needs a good squeeze. Oh, there we go. Nice and level. And then we'll have two more large tiles on the back there. Oh, brilliant. Now that is as flat as a pancake on the top, so that will make a really good connection with the glass, with our magnets as close as they can be, just behind that panel. I think that'll be really good. So let's just check the flatness. Oh yes, that isn't tipping at all. No, the engines are clear and everything. Brilliant. And I don't think we've changed the aesthetic too much. I mean, it still looks like the submarine we started with in a way, just with more detail, sort of engine grill pieces and gubbins all over the side. Still got these nice pipes connecting and so on. Still got the air tanks. Yeah, bottom section complete. Right, onto the top section, and I actually took all this apart and rebuilt it again just because it didn't have the magnet in, and well, you can't hear it shaking actually, but yeah, it's in there now. So we are live and active on this half. And I haven't made the same mistake with the top section in that this, yeah, you can hear this one, has got its magnet in. So these are now, very, strongly attracted. Even through my finger, it'll pick up the whole way to that. So there we go. So I'll push that back there. So I'm using the same setup with brackets on front and back to contain the magnet here. So we're going for a very sort of thin slice of submarine on the top. And that will go, crikey, it's so powerful, onto there. So I might as well leave it there for a bit and then build out towards the front, because I think we're going to need a 2x3 plate so we can reattach our front section on. And I've just taken out the 1x4 plate that was there and replaced it with a 1x4 tile, so it's just got less unsightly studs showing. So that can go on like that. Very good. Yeah, it's a bit hunchbacked, but not too bad. Got two more random studs in there, so I'm just going to cover those with cheese wedge pieces, like that, for a bit more streamlinedness. Yep, that's looking good. Then, under there, but we can still get there. Oh, with a bit of strength. Christ, that is so strong. Oh, golly. Yeah, maybe it's not a good idea building it in situ. There we go. Oh, crikey. Yeah, it's going to destroy itself. Not very strong on the top, but it doesn't need to be, because that isn't going to be supporting anything other than via the magnet through the glass. It's just going to be sat there on the ground, so it doesn't matter that it's too fragile. Oh, wow, this is really starting to come together. Then I'm going to try and use as many parts as I can from the old one. So I'm going to bring in these sort of engine parts here. I'll bring it back in with one of these. What else can we reuse? Curved slope on the back there. Let's have a yellow grill piece on there. And then we must, of course, have our tail fins on. Far side, near side. Oh, yes. Look at that. It's not too much different from the other one. Just looks like it's got a lot more kit going on. And then another pair of these tanks to go on here so it can last even longer underwater with an additional air supply. Now, obviously, wow, we're going to have the glass level in between these two levels, which I can sort of show you again the join just by rotating it a bit more easily than pulling it apart. So this will look even more hunchbacked when it's in position, sort of spread out with an extra few millimeters in between them. But you know what? I don't think you can easily tell that this, as it stands, is two separate parts. And we really have got these two magnets as absolutely close as we possibly could. In fact, I'm just thinking we could attach something else to the top, though that's probably less useful. But anyway, yeah, really good. So tell me what you think of that, and if I can add anything else. I don't see any free studs going, or if I need more stickers maybe. Yeah, it's almost begging for one on top of there, isn't it? But then we've got one here and here, so maybe not. So yeah, I think we can decorate this though. And a couple of things that came to mind were, one, improving the fingers on this hand. I'm not sure I really like those. They just look a bit odd. And the fact that we've got three, oh, well, the arm's fallen off quite handily, makes it relatively unsymmetrical. So I'm going to take all of those off and replace it with these kind of claw pieces, which are called claw with clip. And they're Hero Factory pieces, part 92220. And I just thought if I put 4 of these on the diagonals, I think it'd look a bit more grabby. And that's what I'm going for. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So there we go. And a bit more of a contrast to the other one. Sort of more visual. I mean, that looks really grabby, doesn't it? Oh, a bit vicious, if anything. So that can go back on there. So that's a bit of improvement, I think, on the decoration front. But also we need some life buzzing around this like we have on everything else. So I thought I might introduce one of the old style dolphins with the kind of happy eye. Now this was on quite a few sets in the 90s, including set 1782, Discovery Station from 1997, where it's quite hard to see actually, jumping in the air on the left there, out of the water. And you can actually get a transparent light blue one of these, would you believe? It looks absolutely cool as anything, but it's ridiculously rare. It goes for like sort of 40 to 160 pounds on Bricklink. That was in just one Scala set in 1998. 3117, flashy pool. I think it means sort of luxury sort of flashy rather than literally flashing. But yeah, it's really nice. Dolphin in a slightly different shape to the normal one. So I just thought I'd sort of mount him on a clear piece or something like that, and maybe attach this to part of the arm, just so he's having sort of a interpersonal experience or interspecies experience with the pilot. Now obviously that'll have to work with the glass level, so maybe I'll change the connection point. But you know, sometimes dolphins do investigate humans up to something under the sea to see what on earth they're doing, and then they sort of swim away and continue playing. So I thought that would be quite a good addition. Then also I thought there might be lots of fish hanging around in the shadow of the tank or something on the near side, because I think I'm going to have it at this angle in the cabinet. So basically I've got my bag of fish, and I think I'll probably use some of the brighter coloured ones, maybe the orange ones, and my little baggie of kind of robot arms to disguise the connection points to these bar pieces. So I'm going to have a quick go at that and report back, and then we can stick the whole caboodle into the cabinet. Fantastic. Oh, so here we are. Dolphin kind of positioned a bit better, and loads of fish attached via clips in the sort of lowest profile way I can to sort of hide them in kind of a scattered shoal hiding in the shadow of the submarine. Safety in numbers. Yeah, I think that looks really good, and it stands out a great deal from the rest of the build. So yeah, adding almost double the interest. Cool, right, so I now have to put this entirely into the cabinet. I'm going to have to kind of twist this to get it off, I think. Oh my lord, I might have to break it just to get it apart, it's so strong. Now I'm going to mount it in that little bit near the sea tunnel today. It might be that later on, with all these lights on, I can have this submarine going between the 3rd and the 4th levels of the cabinet. I don't know, but at the moment I think it will make much more sense to include it in the scenes that are more done. So, without further ado, let's get on with that. Ho 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 ho, looking good. Oh my word. This one's a bit different from all the ones we've done before in that the majority of the build is underneath the glass as opposed to on top. But it works really well, doesn't it? They marry perfectly as designed, and with those red and green lights just sticking out a little bit visibly on the sides. But it's this scene that I really like. It just suddenly looks like you've entered another world, and those fish sort of hanging apparently mid-air or mid-water, and the dolphin kind of saying hello. Hey, what are you up to? And you can see the dolphin again here. I mean, that just adds so much to the depth of the cabinet, doesn't it? You really have got the layers of things sort of floating at different levels all the way through. Oh, that is absolutely great. And how does it look further out? Oh, yes. Oh, I think you'll agree, everyone, that that is a good addition. It might have to stay here, actually. It's so good in between these two levels. Let's have a look from really low down. Yes. I mean, it doesn't look like two separate builds, really, does it? The glass kind of doesn't overemphasize the gap between the two bits. It, well, diminishes it, if anything. Yeah, looks really, really good. Probably the worst angle is absolutely dead on like that, but any diagonal and it works well. I might even have more fish or something else hanging off this. It's a really good mounting point to sort of have sea life on, or maybe that's enough. Tell me what you think in the comment section. But yeah, that looks really, really nice if you ask me. Very dynamic, full of motion at the angle. Very nice indeed. And obviously it will feature and interact with the things on the level below when we've got all of this populated and that wreck and all the rest of it. So yeah, very good. Wow, very happy with that amendment. I think it's slightly better than I hoped, which is, well, not too rare a thing, but it's very nice when it happens. Yeah, wow, really good from directly above. Bit reflecty today, but that's because we're staring at a lot of glass. But yeah, that looks really, really nice. Oh, but do tell me what you think. Well, as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, it'll be Monday, so we'll be doing another build. You'll have to let me know if you want it to be in the deep sea cabinet. I haven't quite got all the pieces for the second part of the pyramid yet, I don't think. I think I need to do one more haul for that, which will be on Wednesday. If you want to send something to a haul, you can to the usual address. Otherwise, we'll be doing a build in the city. There's lots to do in that newly opened up corner. So whatever we get up to, I'm sure we'll have amazing good fun. So until then, see you. Oh yeah, that is a good addition.